funny how things go. Sometimes people hate things just because other people love them. I think everyone has this reflex. Like when I realized I never played any installment from the biggest game franchise from the last decade, Call of Duty. Yes, I never played any Call of Duty game. So I decided to jump in and start with this infamous series. Beginning with the most critically acclaimed one of them all, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. And in my case, the remastered version that came out in 2016. To be completely honest, the fact that this game was so loved was not my main reason why I never played it. Over the years, I started to care less and less about competitive games, especially when the shift took place from split-screen couch multiplayer to online. In other words, I love to shoot the hell out of my friends in the games like Perfect Dark, but the online multiplayer that the Call of Duty games are known for is not for me. This is why I will solely focus on the single player in this review. The other big reason why I never played a Call of Duty game is the military theme. I rather prefer a more creative setting. Anyway, I don't have any expectations when I started this game. I didn't read anything about it and went in all blank. And I think that's a good thing. The story is... well, I'll let you judge for yourself. It's 2011 and Russia is caught in a civil war between ultra-nationalists who want to go back to the Soviet glory days and loyalists who are loyal to the current government. In the meantime, in the Middle East, in a small but rich unnamed country, a terrorist leader called al-Assad seizes power by killing the current president. Mr. Assad combines forces with the ultra-nationalists to get his hands on nuclear weapons. And you have to stop this from happening. You, in this case, are a brand new recruit from the British Special Air Service, or SAS, Sergeant John Soap McTavish. Well, not always. This game lets you play as several characters. At some point you even play a different character every mission. Sergeant Soap has the most screen time though. Also the gameplay changes out from mission to mission. With one big constant, you always play from a first person perspective. Most of the time you have to run and gun your way through, but sometimes you need to sneak past a massive battalion or use your sniper rifle to kill a figurehead and escape the scene in a rush. There's even a level, if you call it a level, in which you cannot do anything, you can just walk. Modern Warfare Remastered is a very beautiful game. Even though the original game was made in 2007, the remastered version actually meets the standards for 2016. The environments are greatly varied, since Sergeant Soap and his friends traveled all over the world. For example, to the United Kingdom, the Middle East, Azerbaijan, Russia, Ukraine, on a ship, on an airplane. Every location is portrayed very convincingly, especially the Azerbaijan levels are really well done. So, the graphics are great, but how is the sound? Pretty good in my opinion. The score is epic and fits the game perfectly, although it can be a bit too bombastic at times for my taste. The sound effects are pretty great too, especially on the PS4, where the sound of your gun comes through your controller. It sounds like a small thing, but it's actually a really nice touch. I don't understand that the controller speaker isn't used like this in more games. A first-person shooter with great graphics, great sound and great music. Seems like a masterpiece, right? Well, don't get me wrong, this is not a bad game, but far from a masterpiece. The biggest reason is, in my opinion, that despite the remaster, this game still feels like a game from 2007. It's not the looks or the sound that feel old, but the rest does. First of all, the story. In the last 10 years so many great, epic and moving stories have been told through video games that Modern Warfare still pales in comparison. I honestly did not even follow the story until the conclusion when everything comes together. I think the trick to let the player play as several characters was a good idea on paper, but it just didn't work, at least not for me. It was too messy and disjointed. Maybe the theme didn't grab me enough either. I don't know, I really enjoy a well written story. It gets me through a game, but here it left me cold. The story is not just complicated, it's also brought as a really serious thing. A lot of military talk, saving the world, saving the country, blah blah blah. This is all really nice and dandy, but on the other hand, it's pretty comical now. The game takes place in 2011. This was in the future when the game was released, but when the re-release came, it was already in the past. In 2011 there was no civil war in Russia, and the US didn't invade the Middle East. It didn't happen, I know it, I was there. So, for me, it kinda feels off. Then lastly, even though the graphics and the sound were remastered, the gameplay wasn't. I wouldn't want a great shift in gameplay, but some things have been smoothened out in shooters over the years, and this remaster still feels a bit rough. To give you an example, in one of the hardest missions of the game, you have to hold out against hordes of enemies for a while. A timer counts down, and when it reaches 0, you get picked up by a helicopter in another section of the level. You have to run to the heli, chased by the enemy, walk in, press a button for a cutscene to start and finish the level. Sounds okay, right? Well, the entrance of the helicopter is kind of small, and I had some trouble getting in, resulting in having almost to restart the level. This would have been super frustrating. In newer games, you would have to press a button on arrival, so the cutscene would show you entering the heli. This sounds like a much better design to me. This was just an example, but there is more. You can withstand several bullets and heal pretty automatically by getting out of danger. You always go from A to B, so you cannot explore the levels much, you cannot even open doors, but you have to wait for your teammates to do this. I can go on like this for a while, but... well, it really feels like an old-fashioned game. Old-fashioned gameplay is not a bad thing on its own, and I did enjoy myself playing Modern Warfare. The variety of the levels, the pretty graphics, the nice sounds, it helped me through. This game is not very long and it is fun, as long as you don't take it too seriously. So, not an outright recommendation, but if you find it for a good price, it's worth trying out. As for me personally, it made me curious for the other Call of Duty games. So, this was my review for Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered. I hope you enjoyed it. I decided I will review the whole Call of Duty series. Not all in a row, but once in a while I will pop one in. Also, I will put some gameplay online this time too, just a few missions. So, let me know if you liked the review and don't forget to like and subscribe. Do svidania!